we're all animal lovers. To be on this show, you're an animal lover, and we all have like our preferences and our connections with different things about pet parenting. So did you ever watch Inside the Actors Studio?
Yes.
Okay. So you're like one of the only people on this show that has watched it, which it's one of my favorite. I know.
What's your favorite episode?
Brad Pitt. When he was in Interview with the Vampire, and he was like talking about that movie. I don't know why. I'm not even a huge Brad Pitt fan, but I remember that whole episode.
Robin Williams.
Oh my God, I love him. May he rest in peace. Yes. You know what? I should watch that one again.
You will be crying.
No, he was such a good soul.
Well, crying like from laughter. I know.
Oh, really? I know, but crying, laughing, and crying now because he's gone. But yeah, I do remember watching it. I just haven't seen it, or it doesn't stand out to me.
Oh, yeah. Watch it.
He's so good. Well, they're hard to come by.
Is that what you're going to ask me?
No, I don't. No, it's all pet related, even though you can certainly tell me. But I feel like you're an F-bomb kind. Is that your favorite curse word?
I don't like to curse.
No?
I mean, I do curse, but I don't like to.
Oh, I do.
Don't apologize for it.
And certainly the F-bomb, it just rolls off the tongue too easily. But okay, so these are all pet related. So they're kind of similar. They're inspired by Inside the Actors Studio, but they're really pet related. So what is your favorite breed? And it could be a breed of any species.
All right. I come from a poodle family. It's the hair. We all have super curly hair. And I come from a poodle family, so poodles are my favorite breed.
That is awesome. And what is your least favorite breed?
I don't like the Saint Bernards that are so drooly. Dogs that are drooly, that's like my line too far.
I agree with that completely. Does Portia sleep in your bed with you?
She used to, and now I bet she does, but only when I'm sleeping. She no longer sleeps in my head every night.
Yeah, she did her work, and now she's got other stuff she's focusing on. Probably playing, chasing things in the middle of the night, waking you up in the morning. Well, this brings me to who or what wakes you up in the morning?
Mom, it's breakfast time. Come on, Mom, it's breakfast time.
And that's why I ask, because it's usually either like the cat like at 5 a.m. playing, or the dog being like, let's go walk, or a child screaming like mine at 5 a.m. for no reason. So yeah.
You know, it's funny. One of the examples I use for a service animal is an animal that will remind their person to take their medication. And if someone says, well, but you know, I'm like, for all of you doubters who say, how would the dog know? Come on, your dog knows exactly when it's breakfast and when it's dinner and when it's treat time. They know.
They absolutely know. Titan is one of those. My old guy, he is one of those. I mean, he will stand there and wait every day at 9:30 in the morning. He knows it's 9:30. We used to go at 9:30 to walk. Now I've changed it to 10 because it's colder. So I wanted a little bit warmer before we go for our walk. But he has not gotten the memo that it changed. So at 9:30 for the past 2 months, he just sits there and stares at me until I'm like, just go lay down 30 minutes.
You know, I was 5 minutes late to logging on because 6 o'clock is dinner time, and Portia was coming at me like, Mom, no, I am not waiting for your podcast interview to be over. You are to do this right now.
Yeah, no, I mean, they don't care what we have going on. So okay, I don't know, with cats, I haven't had a cat in a long time, and I had cats, I rescued and fostered cats, but they were really young, so there was no like training involved, and they like moved away before I would have started really training them.
By the way, I have fostered dogs along with cats.
Okay, cool. So what is your most used training command or cue? And I mean, some people do use clicker training with cats and everything. I mean, there's not enough people training cats. We need to train cats more often.
It's just really, and actually that's something new that's happening, well, a couple of years now, that's happening in shelters, that they'll clicker train cats to like give high fives so that when people will come, you know, like potential adopters, and the cat will give them a high five and think, oh, this cat, there's this connection, right? So
Smart.
I started clicker training Portia because I'm like, she's bored. She needs some mental stimulation, and she does not give a you know what. So cats, and I have to say Foxy, who you know that pet that you just have that really special relationship with, that was Foxy, and she would take the rainbow snake, the rainbow snake,
Mm-hmm.
and she would like drag it around the house. And at night, I'd hear her running up the steps with the rainbow snake. It was like that was her security blanket. It was like, it was her mark of like, Foxy was here. WUZ.
Aww. So yeah, there are dogs that are like cats and cats that are like dogs. Like our idea of what a dog and a cat.
Did you ever play the game with your friends? If I were a dog, what kind of dog would I be?
No, but that's a good question for here.
Right. So I played that with my friends because I do. And I always had trouble. It was funny. My friends knew exactly what they wore, but I always had trouble trying to figure out what I was, until one day I realized I'm a cat.
You're a cat.
Absolutely a cat. I'm not a dog breed. I am a cat.
But you're like, are you like a social cat or like a skittish hide under the bed cat?
Both. My God, if there's
depends on the person, right?
If there's a thunderstorm, I am running under the bed.
Yeah. And if somebody just gives it off of bad energy, you're running off under the bed. But if they give a good energy, then you're like coming out and say hi, right? Is Portia like a dog cat or a cat?
She's a dog cat. She likes to fetch. She loves to play fetch always since she was a kitten.
That is cool. So do you use any kind of commands with her? Like, is she trained like in a traditional training cue or command?
She's not trained. If I say pretty Portia Princess, come over here.
So your most used training command is pretty Portia Princess. Sounds good to me.
There's a quote. It was like, women and cats will do as they please, and men and dogs have to get used to it. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's true. Very true. Is there any command or cue that you don't use with Portia, either on purpose or because you just forget? Like, is there something you'd never say to her? So
I had Portia and Foxy since they were 6 months old. And their birthday was yesterday. So Portia's now 11. I was going to toilet train them. But then, but then I got really invested in a rescue group, and I was running one of the Petco facilities, and I ran out of time. But I really seriously was going to toilet train them.
So the cats that I fostered a few years ago, I got them when they were 5 days old, and I was going to keep 2, but then I ended up pregnant, and I was like, we cannot have any more pets because we had 4 dogs at the time, and we had to rehome these cats that we had no intention of keeping, but we fell in love with. But like at some point, I bought the kit to potty train them with the toilet.
Yes.
But this is the problem with being in the pet industry. All the cat like trainers and experts were like, they need to dig in a litter box that's not going to be fulfilling for them. If they can't like cover their pee and poo, they're going to start digging somewhere else. And I was like, all right, forget it. I'm going to because it seemed like a lot of effort to make, like to like do something wrong and like have to like mitigate another behavior if it like backfired. So I decided against it.
Especially with Foxy. She is an expert hider. And, when my husband and I lived in our house, and it had all these nooks and crannies, and we had these huge closets with all these shelves. And when I couldn't find a cat, I just shake the treat jar. That usually made them come running, but not always.
No, not even that.
I mean, most of the time, but especially Foxy, she would be like way up high in the shelves to where like you couldn't even see it. But a lot of times like shaking the treats, that's like the closest I'll come to training them.
Well, what's funny? The next question is, what pet related noise do you love?
Purrs.
The best.
Oh my gosh.
The best. I love a purr.
Purr on you? Oh, there's nothing better.
I know cats are so awesome. And I get, you know how you hate the words emotional support animal? I hate when people say, I hate cats because they don't know cats. Exactly. You don't know cats. If you don't like cats, it's because you've never met a cool cat. And there's so many cool cats that you just haven't been around cats. Yeah. What pet related noise do you hate?
So I'm going to go with snoring.
Really? You know what's funny? That's a popular one with the dog people, that they love it because it, like, they feel like their dog is like in such a sweet slumber.
No. I'm sensitive about sleeping. So if a pet is on my bed next to me snoring, I can't sleep.
So what, I know you're not directly involved in the pet profession, but knowing pet professions as you do, is there any pet profession that you've ever thought like, ooh, I could do that?
If I had to do it all over again, especially because I went to Tufts, which has this whole animal, I mean, they have a phenomenal veterinary school. And within that veterinary school, they even have like even if you're not a vet, you can take, there are programs or master degrees for you. So if I had to do it all over again, I think I would become like a, PhD behaviorist.
Ooh.
Right? Like, yeah. Right. Like the dog whisperer, the horse whisperer. Yeah. I would focus on like animal behavior. And then I'd use my public health degree to, the econometrics and all that stuff to like design studies and
yeah. I totally see that for you. Yeah. Cause I remember reading your undergrad, I think it was your undergrad in economics. And I was like, oof, law, economics, public policy. She's like, perfect. We got to get her like in public service. No, maybe.
HUD. Oh my God. If I get into HUD.
I'll put out that would be awesome.
In their enforcement and the ones who are like investigating the reasonable accommodation, animal accommodation violations.
That'd be cool. I'll put that out to the universe for you.
I'm working on it. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So cool. Definitely a very good match there. Yeah. All right. So how about a pet related profession that you would never want to do?
I absolutely want to be sensitive to really brave, wonderful people who do jobs that I could never do. I mean, look, I told you I was obsessed with horses. I used to go to the barn on days I couldn't ride just so I could muck out stalls and flatten the manure pile.
But that's part of caring for the horse, right? So you just felt like you were taking care of the horse.
I was around horses.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to be. And I mean, this was also because I was, a child or a teenager. In the winter, flattening the manure pile was one of the best chores because the heat would rise. Okay, so what animal task would I never want to do? Oh gosh. I would say grooming. I don't think I'd be very good at grooming. I think that I would have trouble with that.
It's not easy. It's for sure not easy. I just interviewed my first groomer last weekend. And what's funny is I had like a really bad hair day that day. And I was like, oh my, I look at myself in the video and I'm like, oh my gosh, I look like a poodle for my interview with this groomer. Cause my hair's just like, I don't know, it was doing something. And my husband, like, he like laughs and then he looks at the video and then he's like, like he didn't deny. So he didn't really deny. So I looked like a poodle for the groomer interview, which is kind of hilarious. But yeah, she talked about how she had groomed cats, but she got such a bad bite that was infected. Even though she got like medical attention for it, they had to open it up and clean it again because she had such a bad infection. So she doesn't groom cats anymore. But yeah, grooming is not easy because even though cat bites are worse, dogs still bite.
You know it. Yeah, cat bite.
Yeah. So the last one, and here's where we get introspective. And I call this part of the show last call because when you've been at the bar for a while, you make friends and now you're having all these philosophical conversations, right? And also the last time we let our dogs out at night is called last call here. So kind of works. So If the Rainbow Bridge exists, who is the first pet to greet you when you arrive?
Foxy, who is my black cat, who, it's funny, while I was going through chemo, my husband wanted to take photos of, and like to show the growth of hair. And I absolutely wouldn't let him. And I kind of regret that. But I did take a couple selfies myself. And I have quite a few of them of Foxy wrapped around my neck while I'm bald. And I would always kind of joke, and jokes are like kind of true, that like if
Right.
Foxy could like come up inside of me and hang out inside of me, she would. So I think Foxy would be the first to greet me.
That's so sweet. And how long has it been since you said goodbye?
August. We
Too
said
soon.
goodbye to our one cat who she was older and had been ill, and I didn't realize how quickly she had declined. We said goodbye to her. And then literally a week later, we had to say goodbye to Foxy. It was
devastating.
It was awful.
I'm so sorry.
There I go. F-bomb.
I knew you were an F-bomb type. Wow, that must have been so hard. I'm so sorry to hear that. And I'm sure Portia took it just as hard as you all.
Portia she's a bully. She's a jerk. She's alpha. She was so mean to Foxy. And then when Max's cat came in, like, Julia was just like, whatever, I'm gonna roll with the punches. So Portia was cool with Julia. So when Max moved out, he's like, can I have Portia? I was like, yeah, sure. So he took Portia and Julia. So it's just me and Foxy for a few months.
Well, thank you so much for spending your evening with me.
Fun speaking with you. This was a blast.
Me too. That's what I wanted to do with this show, is make it so that like-minded people can come together and share a drink and educate pet parents in the process.
Yeah.
Love it.